Hey, wrestling fans. Welcome to another episode of 360 Wrestling Fanatic, episode 223, right here on YouTube, doing the live stream and recording on Anchor.fm, as also many other podcatchers, Apple Podcasts, Google, Spotify. There's more, a bunch of other ones. So whether you're listening to the podcast or watching on YouTube right now, thank you for tuning in. And just want to say real quick, once again, still looking for a possible co-host maybe of 360 Wrestling Fanatic. So if anybody's interested, the email 360 Wrestling Podcast at gmail.com would probably be the easiest way. But excuse me. But also, you can comment in the comment section below here on YouTube if you're watching the live stream, or anybody listening to the podcast, Facebook, 360 Wrestling Podcast, or the Instagram, even the Twitter, even though I don't go on there very often, tweet anything. It's at 360 Wrestling Pod. So it would be cool to have a co-host here, but if not, I'll just keep doing it by myself, and it will continue to be bad. So let's get into it. This episode, 360 Wrestling Fanatic, I'm going to be talking about last night's Impact Wrestling's Turning Point, which was a special on Impact Plus. Once again, I got to recommend, I talked about it on Victory Road when they brought back the monthly specials for Impact Plus, that it's actually a great streaming service. If you haven't checked it out, I actually think it's kind of underrated. But if you definitely have a chance to check it out, go start the free trial stuff. It's really good, actually. And now I noticed that they've made some changes recently, and they've added a live stream that's on like 24/7, kind of like the WWE Network. I mean, they don't have original shows or anything like that so far, but as of right now, they show a lot of past TNA shows, Impacts, stuff like that. Kind of like what it's on the Pluto app. If you have that, you can get the Impact Wrestling channel on there, or like on Impact's Twitch, they have this stream where they show different past pay-per-views, different original shows like Teenage Greatest Matches, things like that. Very good. If you have never subscribed before, I definitely recommend you at least check it out. Try it. Doesn't hurt to try. All right, now let's get into last night's Turning Point Impact Plus special. Not really a pay-per-view, but kind of close to it. Let's see. We start off with our opening contest, and it is Eddie Edwards defeating Daivari. Not a bad opener here. And Knockouts tag team action is up next. Tennille Dashwood and Jordan Grace taking on Rosemary and Taya Valkyrie. Rosemary pins Grace to score the win for her team. And speaking of knockouts, this Tuesday night on Impact Wrestling begins the tournament to crown the new Knockout Tag Team Champions. In case you've missed it for some reason, Impact is bringing back the Knockouts Tag Team Championships. Chris Sabin and James Storm, two of the best tag team wrestlers in Impact history. Chris Sabin, of course, part of the Motor City Machine Guns, along with Alex Shelley and Cowboy James Storm, a part of two of the greatest tag teams in teen history, actually. First, America's Most Wanted with Chris Harris, and then later on, teamed with Bobby Roode to form the tag team Beer Money, which, like I said, one of the greatest tag teams in TNA/Impact history. Next up, the X Division Championship is on the line because it is the Defeat Rohit Challenge. Excuse me. And this one is Cousin Jake accepting Raju wins to retain the championship. And then after this match, we see the Raw. Excuse me, I have a cough. We see the world-class maniac Eric Young make his way to the ring with Joe Doring, and they attack the Deaners, leave them both laying. Moose versus Willie Mack is up next. Moose picks up the win here. Our main event, or not yet, actually, I take that back. But first, the Impact Wrestling World Tag Team Championships are on the line in our next match. It is the Good Brothers defeating the North to win the Impact Wrestling World Tag Team Championships. For the first time in their careers, the Good Brothers are the Impact Tag Team Champions. Good match here. If you, like I said, I definitely recommend checking the show out. If you don't have Impact Plus for some reason, you don't want to get Impact Plus, you can order the show by itself for $9.99 on the Fight app, Fight.tv. Speaking of the Good Brothers, Friday night was Talking Shop-A-Mania 2. I purchased it on the Fight app. Pretty entertaining. I don't know if I enjoyed it quite as much as the first Talking Shop-A-Mania, but it's still pretty good. Definitely worth checking out at least anyway. So I definitely recommend, once again, the Fight app, Fight.tv. If you haven't purchased any shows on there, definitely suggest that. Those two anyway. Or other shows too. I don't mean just those two, but free shows on there as well. Championship Wrestling from Hollywood. Ring of Honor's weekly TV show is available on Fight.tv. Once again, not being sponsored, but if anybody from Fight is listening or watching right now, feel free to sponsor. Even if you don't, I still love your website, love the app. Watch many great wrestling shows on there. Definitely a big fan here, Lance Brock from 360 Wrestling Podcast. And now it is time for the main event of Turning Point 2020. The Impact Wrestling Knockouts Championship is on the line, and it is Deonna Purrazzo taking on Su Yung in a rematch from Bound for Glory. And Deonna Purrazzo once again becomes the Impact Knockouts champion by defeating Su Yung. Very good match here. These two, the match at Bound for Glory was not the original match that was scheduled. If you remember, it was supposed to be Deonna Purrazzo defending against Kylie Ray, but there was a lot of Kylie Ray no-showed, and now it turns out she has retired from professional wrestling. Hopefully everything is okay with her, but as of right now, no longer a professional wrestler. That's what she said on her Patreon just a little while back. But hopefully everything with her is okay now. Hopefully she's doing good and good positive attitude. And wish her well here at 360 Wrestling Podcast. And now let's go on to some news. And Friday, I believe it was, the big news that came out in the world of wrestling was WWE releasing Zelina Vega, which I would say maybe was a surprise, but maybe not a huge surprise, you know, and which, excuse me. Now, the release of Zelina Vega uh, seems to be, don't know this for sure, but seems to be involved with the whole Twitch thing about WWE wanting their wrestlers not to Twitch, not to stream and or do the cameos. I mean, I think Twitch is more of a bigger thing than that, but bigger part of it. But Zelina Vega now gone from WWE, and hopefully we'll find out more about. And it's a shame, but I'm sure she'll land on her feet. I'm sure any company, any promotion, whether it's AEW, Impact, or Ring of Honor, or wherever she wants to go, will welcome her with open arms. So, also, some pretty big news from SmackDown. Chelsea Green from NXT, the former Laurel Van Ness from Impact, made her main roster debut and unfortunately suffered a broken wrist in the match. That's why she disappeared suddenly, and it became just Natalya and Liv Morgan in there on their own. But yeah, and for a tough break, she debuted on NXT. She suffered a broken wrist, had her SmackDown debut on the main roster, and unfortunately, once again broke her wrist. But once again, here at 360 Wrestling Podcast, I just want to wish her a speedy recovery. Hope she gets back in the ring soon. Well, won't be soon, but once she's able to get back into the ring, hope she gets back in there, gives it her all. And now let's get and sorry I didn't have a Dynamite recap. Um, hopefully soon we'll get back to be doing more recaps of the weekly shows: Dynamite, Raw, SmackDown, Impact. And like on Wednesday, I don't think I did a Dark and Impact recap have like I do sometimes, but hopefully we'll get back to that. Keep doing more episodes. I mean, at least it's not like before where I've stopped doing the shows for months and months and slacked off. I've been doing them more lately, but of course, the last few days I haven't done anything. But AEW has dropped a video to promote this week's Dynamite. That's a throwback of Tony Schiavone back from the old NWA days, Georgia Championship Wrestling. Definitely worth checking out. And once again, the Survivor Series next week. Randy Orton taking on Roman Reigns. And should be a good one. Hopefully, I'll talk more about that coming up during the week, or at least I hope to anyway. And last Tuesday, the announcement AEW Games about the new video games coming out from All Elite Wrestling, still in development. The game for the current and next gen consoles, the Xbox, the I don't know what the new one's called, and PlayStation. I don't know what number they're up to. Maybe it's PlayStation 10. Who knows? Sorry, I know all the anybody listening right now or anybody watching that's a gamer saying you idiot. It's only PlayStation 4 or 5, 3, 6. I don't know what they're on now. Obviously, I'm not really much of a gamer. I don't know if you can tell, but I'm not. So definitely, it'll be a while, but I definitely recommend everybody gets the AEW game on PlayStation 10 or PlayStation 15, whatever they're on now. PlayStation 22, I don't know. But still, check out that game. Also, two mobile games where all elite general managers looks pretty cool. Would definitely be interested in playing that one. You get to be the general manager. You control. It looks like you control your promotion, and the AEW Double or Nothing casino game, which sounds interesting. Never seen a wrestling casino game before. I'm definitely gonna get those right here on this iPhone when they come out. I know. I want to say maybe it's the casino one supposed to be in December next month. I don't know about the all the general manager, but definitely know the game for the actual game consoles is not gonna be out for quite a while. Your PlayStation 15s or your Xbox 20, 360, 80, 450, 420s. I don't know what they're on either, but that kind of makes me actually want to get one of the new video game systems now. Yeah, I know. Hopefully, it'll be good because I know WWE last year, 2K19 had some big issues, but or was it 2K20 last year? Whichever one it was. Um, that makes me want to get another game system because the most recent one I had was PlayStation 2. Actually, I played SmackDown Here Comes the Pain and SmackDown versus Raw games. I got the TNA Impact game. I might have been the only person in the world who actually liked the TNA Impact game, but I enjoyed it. Could have been better? Of course, it could have been better. Definitely wasn't the best wrestling game ever. Wasn't WCW NWO Revenge, that's for sure. Wasn't No Mercy. Wasn't that the old WCW game for the original Nintendo, the one with the Road Warriors on the cover. That is definitely still one of my favorite video games of all time. Back for the NES. I'm sure if you're a big wrestling fan and a big gamer, love playing the wrestling games. I'm sure you remember that one for the original Nintendo. Had the Road Warriors on the cover. I think it was just called World Championship Wrestling, but great game. I don't know. Wish I could play that somehow. I don't know. I am definitely not a gamer, as I said, but somehow, is there a way to play that? I don't know. If anybody knows, if you're a gamer, let me know in the comments here on YouTube or comments on any of the podcatchers or any of the social media, Facebook, Instagram. Let me know because that'd be cool to be able to play that somehow. Because I know they came out with the old classic Nintendo stuff, the stuff like that, but they don't have any of the wrestling games or anything like that. It's really just the original Nintendo games. Didn't make didn't mean to turn this into a video game podcast. Sorry about that. And of course, some of the big news, like I mentioned a little bit, is the Twitch. And Miro, now in All Elite Wrestling, the former Rusev in WWE, says he would not quit Twitch for WWE. Also, Alexa Bliss is now engaged to be married. And Seth Rollins will be taking some time off WWE TV. Apparently, Becky Lynch is due to give birth in the summer. I'm sure that's why he will be gone for a while. As SmackDown last Friday, we saw the final match in the feud, him and Rey Mysterio, which saw Murphy. It was a setup. He attacked Rollins, helped Mysterio get the win. Then we see Rey Mysterio and Dominic shake Murphy's hand after the match, kind of giving their blessings for him and Aaliyah to be together. So that's all the news I have for this episode, this Sunday night edition of 360 Wrestling Fanatic. Thanks for tuning in. I hope everybody had a great weekend. Hope to be back soon. And just yesterday, I believe it was. No, it was Friday, actually. I take that back. It was Friday. I got the Pro Wrestling Illustrated in the mail, the female 100. Now I believe it's up to. I hope pretty soon to have a new episode of Fanatic Unleashed, the newest 360 Wrestling podcast, where I just discuss, I should say, excuse me, discuss anything I want. Just talk about, could be like a past show, or in this case, something that just came out, a review, the Pro Wrestling Illustrated. I might do that from time to time when a new issue comes out. Might discuss it, like this one, the PWI 500, their year-end issue, things like that. And also, one day this week, I should be getting the new Young Bucks. Sorry about that. The new Young Bucks book. Should be getting that in the mail one day this week. Already pre-ordered it. Killing the business from the backyards to the big leagues. No, I'm not like some of the wrestling media. I don't get advanced copies of stuff, unfortunately. But should be a very good book. I haven't read it yet, but I'm definitely interested in reading it, and I might do a review of that on an episode of Fanatic Unleashed. And there's another one I'm thinking of, a new podcast, I should say. I'm thinking of, haven't officially decided just yet. Still need to think about a few things, figure a few things out. But hopefully, once again, hey, if you want to host a podcast with me, Lance Brock, be a co-host on 360 Wrestling Fanatic, 360 Wrestling Podcast at gmail.com, or you can leave a comment right here on YouTube if you're watching the stream, or any podcatchers. I think some of them might have comment sections. I don't know for sure. But go ahead, leave a comment on there. 360 Wrestling Podcast on Facebook and Instagram, on Twitter, 360 Wrestling Pod, or you can just email might be the best way, 360 Wrestling Podcast at gmail.com. Once again, or you can leave a comment on this video just saying anything. Any comments right here on YouTube are welcomed. And please give this video a like, a thumbs up. That'd be great. And subscribe, of course, if you're not already subscribed. But once again, thank you for tuning in wherever you tuned in, whether you're on YouTube or the podcast. Doesn't matter. Just thank you. I appreciate it. Or you can listen and watch. Do both. Doesn't matter. That's fine. Everything helps. Once again, remember to be safe. Wear your face masks when you go out. It doesn't hurt anything. Just quit being a baby. Quit complaining about how you don't want to wear a mask. Blah, blah, blah. Just wear it. Deal with it. And use the hand sanitizer. Wash your hands regularly. I hope to be back soon. Right here, 360 Wrestling Fanatic, the rest of the 360 Wrestling podcast. I am Lance, and I am a wrestling fanatic.